All right, hi everybody, and welcome to this week's lesson. I'm so excited to talk to you guys today about this topic. All right, I've been receiving a lot of questions, whether it was before I took my break or even during the break, about my soloing, about ideas, about my approach, about how to use things like scales and modes, how I come up with certain ideas, or what do I think about, what should they be thinking about, all kinds of stuff. So I'm so excited to dive deeper into this topic today. But first, I need you to click that subscribe button down below. All right, click that and the notification bell next to it so you can stay up to date on all of the newest videos. We got new lessons, we got new interviews, we got new covers coming, we got artists that are releasing singles, releasing projects that I will be sharing through Straight Up Productions. So I need you to be up to date. I need you to be in the know. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. Don't be that man. Don't be that woman. Click the button. Click it. Did you do it? You got it? Awesome. Thank you. All right. So we are talking about soloing over 2/5/1s today. All right. Why 2/5/1s? Because they are the most common turnarounds in music. All music, funk, gospel, classical, jazz, country, pop, rock and roll, heavy metal, you name it, 2/5/1s are in there. I guarantee you. I bet my bottom dollar, 2/5/1s are in there. Okay, so things happen, you're on gigs, you're in a studio session, whatever, you're jamming with a friend, you want to be able to play some kind of idea over it, you want to be able to add some pizzazz, some funk on top of it. And so we're going to show you how today. You're going to leave this video with some more tools to add to your arsenal. All right, so let's dive in. You ready? Let's go. And don't go unless you've clicked that subscribe button. Pause it. Do it. Okay, let's go. All right, so per usual, key of C. All right. So like I said, we're dealing with 2/5/1s today, all right? So in the key of C, 2, D, and that chord quality is minor. All right, just D minor 7, G, it's gonna be the 5, it's gonna be dominant. You could also play that guy rootless a couple different ways. I have another video on rootless voicing, just go check that out after you watch this. All right, and then 1, which is major 7. All right. So the first approach I'm going to talk about today is arpeggiation. All right. You can arpeggiate these chords to create a melodic idea to kind of solo over a 2/5/1, whether it's something quick or whether you're soloing over a set of changes. Let's say like if you're playing like a jazz standard or you're playing like a pop tune and you have to solo over the form and it ends off where it's a 2/5/1 in there. It's a quick technique that you could use, right, to solo over that. So if I just want to think about just the root of each, all right, or getting back to the root of each, all right, so if I start on the 2, then go to the 5, go to the 1, we can just simply right? You could be cut and dry with it. Right? People don't know that you're cut and dry with it. Or you could just dance around in that arpeggiation, right? All right? And that little trick at the end was just using elements of the scale, right? All right, so practice your scales, practice your arpeggiations, right? Going straight up and down, going in thirds, right? Doing trills, okay? All these things will help in your soloing, right? So like I said, arpeggiations, I use ideas like that all the time. Now, one thing that's going to add some spice to arpeggiation is knowing all of the different substitution options and chord voicing options that you have in your arsenal. That's going to affect how you hear the idea, what idea you're going to play, and what idea you have to choose from, because there's more than just the cut and dry option in your head, in your ears, right? So for instance, if I want to alter the 5 a little bit, right? I got a straight 2, or if you have a bass player, often you're going to be playing it like this, right? And rather than just doing a 5 like this, or like this, with the 13 or the 5, what if I want to add a flat 9? Right? That's going to affect the idea. Check it out. Sorry. I went a little advanced there. Here we go. Right? Open up a whole different set of ideas just by doing the flat 9. And one thing that's cool is there's a hidden gem in there. If I take away the F, what's that? It's E major. Right? And you can even arpeggiate that. Right? Find those hidden gems. I even use elements of the E major scale there, right? All right? And so I've been arpeggiating a lot, starting off the 3, following that voicing in the 1. Take it even further, arpeggiate off the 5. Right? Whole new set of ideas. What if we don't arpeggiate or solo off of all 3 chords? We just pick maybe one to just really, expound on. Let's say it's the 5, right? And let's say instead of doing, the sharp 9, we got all these different ideas. You got flat 9 like before, right? We got sharp 9. We got sharp 9 flat 13. We got flat 9 flat 13. We got sharp 11. We got fully altered, like if I was to do something like that, all of that in there. Flat 9, sharp 9, sharp 11, flat 13, got all the colors in there, right? I want to play something like that. All these different colors. So let's say we just wanted to just take our time at the 5, or just really, put all the sauce into the 5, right? So we're grooving to the 2. Right? You see, I did all my ideas off the 5, which just led to a nice color on the 1 that makes the whole idea resolve, right? So don't feel like you have to really burn out across all 3 chord changes, even if I want to do on the 1, right? Right? Okay? Some of that stuff was Chromaticism, which is another good tool to use. Don't be afraid of chromatics. All kind of stuff in there. and trills, right? Chromatic can do a lot for your idea, right? Don't be afraid of those chromatics. Now, I'm not breaking down specific licks just so I don't inhibit your sound. I don't want you to copy me. I want you to find your sound, what sounds good to you, right? Work up the technical facility, which is the scales, which is the chromatics, arpeggiations, and then you figure out what ideas sound good for you and work well with you, right? I'm just showing you my approach, right? So even if we want to spend our time on the two still. Okay? Use rhythm. Use all those other ideas I talked about in another soloing video to your advantage. But if you want all your ideas on just one chord and not all spread out between all three, do that. That's fine. That's fine. Make it meaningful. Be clear. Be strong. All right? Make it meaningful though. Okay? Another thing that you can do is understand like what chords can lead up to certain things, right? Like in one of the moves I showed you earlier, I did kind of, right? And so even though it's rootless, I did kind of like the 5 of the 2. So D is the 2. The 5 of D is A, right? 2 is minor. So you can use A dominant to lead back to the 2, right? So let's just say if we put a dominant before each of the chords, right? Dominant to the minor, D dominant, which leads to G7, and of course we're on G7, which leads to the 1, right? So when you're leading into it, right? A lot of ideas in there, but building off of, right? And the dominant before the actual chord, right? So the 5 to 2, and then the 5 of the 5, and then the 5 to the 1, okay? Another good technique that you could use, in addition with all the things we talked about, arpeggiation, chromaticism, scaling moves, trills, right? Rhythmic things, okay? You can add rhythmic stuff just staying on one note. Right? That stuff grooves. That stuff feels good, even with jazz. Right? That stuff can groove where you build up the right energy, and depending on the idea, you let your ear lead the way. All right? Cool. So let's keep it going. The last trick I want to show, which is diving deeper, is knowing the substitutions that you can use or add to these colors, right? So instance like a tritone sub move that gets used often is going from the 2 down a half step, playing like a C sharp dominant move, going to C to the 1, right? So substituting that G7 for C sharp 7, which opens up a whole new palette of colors, right? Because rather than using like G dominant, you can use C sharp dominant and come up with like a whole different palette of colors, right? So if I'm soloing in the 2-5-1, right? completely different set of colors. It still works, even if I played like the C sharp dominant over the G, you know, it still works. All right, I just used another one. C sharp major 7 sharp 11. All right? So if I want to resolve there, all right? It's something that works. If I wanted to do like a even more grandeur move, right? I could take the D, substitute that for like an A flat dominant to a C sharp dominant to C. It's a whole different set of colors again, right? So like it makes it like this nice dominant color, right? I got my flat 7, my 9, 3rd, my 13. Going to the C sharp dominant thing, right? 3, 5, flat 7, 9. You can even do this too, or the 13 in there. So you got, it can happen, right? So if we're grooving, let's just say if I went from like a straight 2-5-1 like I've been doing to that move, right? It can just take the whole moment somewhere else. And the bass player still works, right? Don't go and do this over what the bass player is doing if you're all in his way now, right? But if you just start playing these voicings over what the bass player is doing, it's still gonna work, right? So if we're grooving, all these ideas kind of combined. I did some ostinato stuff at the end, but all these possibilities over 2-5-1s you can use. But you got to get your foundation together, all right? You have got to get your foundation together. Know your scales, know your voicings, be confident and able to arpeggiate them, voice them, understand what you're playing, understand what the sound is that you're hearing in your head, or if you guys are transcribing, understand what those sounds are. Don't just get the notes. Don't just get the notes and start plugging and chugging, you know, whatever you're listening to, whether it's Kenny G or Wynton Kelly, Oscar Peterson, Jacob Collier, Justin Schultz, all these great guys that you're playing great stuff, right? But don't just get the notes. Understand what's going on behind there so you can start to develop your own sound, okay? All right, so hopefully this video has helped you. I know I moved a little fast, right? Don't be afraid to go back through, slow some things down. Don't be afraid to email me,
intro,
DM me, do whatever, ask some questions. I'll be happy to break some stuff down to you. But that is some of my approach to soloing over 251. So go back, study it, apply some things to your personal playing, all right? Add the stuff to your arsenal. We're still in quarantine. This COVID stuff is getting a little bit better. Continue to stay safe, but yeah, we're still at home. We're still in the quarantine, all right? So happy practicing, happy learning, happy studying, happy growing. Happy growing. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you made it all the way through, I want you to comment and say, I made it. Just say, I made it. All right? Thanks so much for watching. Happy practicing, happy playing, and I will see you all next Monday. Oh, don't forget to hit subscribe. Okay? Thanks. See ya.